Hi, and welcome to Peak Life. I'm Karen Myers. Today, we're talking with Ruth Jones-Nichols, CEO of the Food Bank of Southeastern Virginia and the Eastern Shore. Welcome to Peak Life.
Thank you so much for having me.
Now, when and how did the food bank get started?
Our food bank got started in 1981 because a group of concerned citizens were very worried about people in our community who did not have access to food. They believed that all individuals should be able to access such a very basic thing, and they started our food bank to not only feed individuals who were experiencing hunger, but also reclaim the food that would otherwise become wasted.
Now, what is the current vision and mission of the food bank?
Our vision remains the same. When you think about 1981, when we were started, that group of concerned citizens wanted to make sure we could have a hunger-free community. That is still our vision, and we work to achieve that vision on a daily basis by leading the effort to eliminate hunger in our community.
Now, what communities do you serve?
That's a great question. And, you know, a lot of times people think that the Food Bank of Southeastern Virginia and the Eastern Shore serves only Norfolk, but we are the Food Bank of Southeastern Virginia and the Eastern Shore.
It's a big area.
It's a big area. In fact, it includes 11 localities covering approximately 4,745 square miles.
Wow.
So we're both counties on the Eastern Shore, Western Tidewater. We go all the way over to Sussex, but right here on the south side, we serve the major cities, including Chesapeake.
Wow, that's a big area. Now, how many people are you currently serving, would you estimate?
Sure. So we estimate that there are approximately 166,000 individuals right here in our community who are food insecure. Wow. Basically what that means, which is different from hunger, is that individuals are missing meals on their table, so they don't have consistent access to the food they need in order to live active lifestyles. We serve just at about that number each year. Through the generosity of partners and donors, we're able to distribute approximately 15 million meals each year. This year will be somewhat different for us because of the loss of one of our major retail donors. But it's a significant amount of people, or a significant number of people who we believe are impacted by hunger and food insecurity.
Now, who are you seeing come through the lines?
There isn't one single face of hunger or food insecurity. We serve seniors, we serve children, we serve the homeless, we serve veterans, but we also serve individuals who get up every day and go to work and still come home unable to put food on their tables. So there isn't one face or one demographic across the board throughout our service area. We're finding that individuals who show up in our lines come from all walks of life.
And you wouldn't think someone who has a full-time job would still be food insecure, but apparently that's the case.
That is the case, and in fact, when you look at the Bureau of Labor Statistics, what we find for our area is our economy is improving because more people are employed, but more people are underemployed or not even making a living wage. So in fact, for this area, the average hourly rate is about $22, and when you annualize that, that ends up being $47,000, which isn't that bad. But the average spending for that same individual is about $52,000. So people are going to work to make $47,000 and still operate at a deficit, which is a part of the reason why they show up in our lines.
So probably 47 before taxes.
Yes, that's right.
So that's even less.
Yes.
So do you see a difference in demand throughout the year, a particular time of year that you may see more of those in need?
You know, really the demand is consistent throughout the year, but during the summer months in particular, when we see a decline in our food donations, there is an uptick in the number of children who need to access healthy, nutritious meals. Those children need us during the summer because they don't have access to the breakfast and lunch programs that they would typically have during the school year. So the need is consistent, and because people show up in our lines for a variety of reasons, we're not able to predict from day to day the number of folks who will need assistance. But each year it's a pretty significant number, and that's why we need support from our community.
Now, can you tell us a little bit about your partner agencies and programs?
Sure. So again, I mentioned previously that last year we distributed about 15 million meals throughout our service area. And most of that food was distributed through our partner agency network. Our partners are largely faith-based institutions that operate food pantries and soup kitchens, but they're also traditional nonprofit organizations that offer complementary services. In addition to our partner agency network, which includes about 250 organizations, we have it's a huge number. We have our direct distribution programs like the mobile pantry program, our backpack program, and the kids cafe program. So through those programs, we're able to meet the needs of lots of different people.
Now, what are some of the ways that our community can help support the food bank?
There are four key things that we ask people to do in support of the food bank and the individuals who show up in our lines. The first thing really is to volunteer their time. So give time to the food bank. Each year we have more than 6,000 volunteers contribute more than 42,000 hours of service, and they pack food in bags and boxes. They sort food that has been donated, but they also help to distribute food to individuals who are showing up in our lines. So give time via their volunteerism. We also need people to give food. Obviously, we are a food bank, and we want to collect as much food as possible to meet the needs of individuals who are seeking assistance. But we also want people to give healthy, nutritious food so that we can do no further harm to individuals who are already impacted by things like diabetes, high blood pressure or hypertension, as well as obesity. The third thing is to give funds. I always say, we can stretch a can of green beans or stretch $1 a little bit more than we can stretch a can of green beans. So when someone gives us that can of green beans, we can provide about 2 servings of green beans. But if they give us $1, we can provide about 3 meals. So give funds. And the final thing, which is something we've just started to talk about more recently, is the opportunity to give voice. People know that hunger and food insecurity are really pervasive issues in our community, but they're not issues we talk about a lot. So we need individuals to not only talk with their friends, their coworkers, people in their social circles, but talk to elected officials who have the capacity to advocate for stronger public policy programs that will create a safety net that really is designed to meet the nutritional needs of individuals who are food insecure.
Now, finally, you've been CEO of the food bank for a little over 2 years.
Yes.
What changes have you seen, and what is your vision for the future of the food bank?
So the primary change that I've seen is really a willingness to shift the narrative from the conversation that is really focused on feeding people and feeding the line to ending the line. And the only way we can really end the line is by beginning to really address the root causes and consequences of hunger and food insecurity. So the fact that we have shifted the narrative and shifted the conversation is very encouraging. As the food bank CEO, I am very much interested in making sure our work is not only transactional in terms of giving people food, but transformational in terms of changing people's lives.
That's great. It's a wonderful organization. Thank you so much for coming on to Peak Life to talk about it.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Sure.
Thank you so much for joining us for this edition of Peak Life, and we'll see you next time.